Mexico has been eating chili peppers for thousands of years. Beef enchiladas wouldn't taste the same without that kick. India feels the burn from curry-based dishes like vindaloo. And Ethiopians have used local plants to create berbere, a spicy paste, to fire up many dishes.
Aside from requiring a little bit of bravery to eat, these dishes all have another thing in common.
Their geographical location. They all sit within the tropics near the equator. And they're not the only examples. There's Jamaica, Thailand, and Tunisia. Have you ever wondered why tropical cultures eat spicier food? Well, one obvious answer is that's where spicy peppers and chilies grow. You're not going to see jalapenos naturally occurring in northern Siberia.
But there's more to it than that. Spicy foods cause a painful or unpleasant experience when you eat them. So why would you bring that upon yourself? Well, the answer has less to do with taste than you might think.
Around 2 million years ago, there was a shift in the diets of some of our ancestors. That shift was towards meat. Transitioning from mostly plants and berries to calorie-rich meat was beneficial in many ways. For example, it led to the development of smaller intestinal tracts. But most importantly, it led to the development of a bigger brain.
Fatty meats have a ton of calories when compared to other foods.
For example, a pound of beef can have 1,000 calories, while a pound of vegetables could have 100. Those extra calories were good for brain development because our brains are really needy for calories. In modern humans who are resting, 20% of calories burned are through brain activity, where in other primates, it's only 8%.
Meat wasn't the only part of their diets. It was more of a get-rich-quick of sorts, with getting a lot of calories in one sitting.
But of course, acquiring meat is tougher than picking berries. Paleoanthropologist Alison Brooks of George Washington University says that modern hunter-gatherers, like the Bushmen of Africa, are successful hunters about 50% of the time.
It's then safe to say that early humans, who didn't have access to the same tools or weapons, fared worse. With the scarcity of meat being what it was, there was a need to develop ways of storage so that it wouldn't rot.
The approach to storing meat is different depending on where you are on the planet and what resources you have. For example, in colder temperatures, you could place meat in the snow or bury it, hoping you wouldn't attract any large predators. Hanging meat out of the reach of these predators in trees was also a common practice where the air temperature was cool enough. That's a luxury that only people in colder temperatures have.
In order to see why, we need to examine how food breaks down. The main way is through microorganisms.
Microorganisms land on food and break it down through chemical processes. They then multiply rapidly, causing a runaway train effect. Cold air is a good deterrent of food rot because bacteria can't grow as fast at colder temperatures.
They say below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, so make sure your fridge is set accordingly. The other reason is that microorganisms, like bacteria, require oxygen and water to do their thing.
All food has at least some water, of which bacteria can take advantage of. But there's also the moisture in the air, which is another plus for food storage in colder temperatures. Cold air holds less water, giving bacteria less to work with. Now, if we go south from the Arctic to Europe, ancient Egypt, and other places around the world, techniques for storing food and meat included pickling, smoking meat, or using salt. The last two practices both dehydrate the cut, as well as create a protective layer that prevents bacteria from growing.
As we reach the tropics, we can answer our initial question.
Spices, like peppers, have antimicrobial properties which help prevent the growth of rot. In addition, spices hide the taste of food that has started to turn.
The physiological reactions, like sweating, were tolerable because it allowed them to store food for longer while using less salt.
That's where you get things like jerk chicken, salsa, and fall curry, where some chefs who prepare it wear gas masks. Spicing with peppers is especially important in the tropics, where bacteria growth is at the highest on the planet. The other aspect is that eating spicy foods actually makes you feel cooler in warmer climates. After sweating, you feel cooler.
Avoiding a reliance on salt has its advantages. Salt at times was very expensive. It's where the saying, worth their weight in salt, comes from.
In fact, the word salary comes from ancient Rome, whose soldiers were paid in salt. Wars were fought over it. There are many instances where salt was used as a currency and a status symbol.
A high price is a very good reason for considering other options when it comes to storing food.
Nowadays, of course, the world has changed. Spicy foods have become a part of many cultures.
People eat spicy food because they like it, or they want to challenge themselves.
That sounds like a dare, Harry.
It's a double dare. If you fellas excuse me, I gotta use the phone, man.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. We're making a lot of fun stuff here at Cheddar, and we hope you keep watching.